Donald Trump, the highest of puppets, is right now warning of a possible black swan event coming up, guys. Trump just posted this. Read the last two sentences very carefully. Could somebody please inform Jerome Too Late Powell that he is hurting the housing industry very badly? People can't get a mortgage because of him. There is no inflation, and every sign is pointing to a major rate cut. Too late is a disaster. I don't know why Trump is saying this, that there is no inflation. I think he's trying to play like the opposite side character, right? There's the protagonist and the antagonist, and one says this and the other says the opposite. And Trump is saying there is no inflation, though we have been seeing inflation going up suddenly out of nowhere. Now, it's weird to me. Okay, I know for a fact that a recession is coming, but it's just strange to me that how Donald Trump is plainly in plain sight saying it out loud, but nobody's watching this. Nobody's paying attention. He first named Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, too late. He calls Jerome Powell, quote unquote, too late. When you're too late to something, what does that mean? You weren't prepared, right? Jerome Powell was supposed to cut rates to front run a black swan event. He's not doing it because he's waiting for that catalyst. Then he's going to be too late, right, to cut rates, because the black swan hits, everything collapses, and then he will start cutting. Okay, after the trigger has already happened. And then this is the biggest one out of them all. Every sign is pointing to a major rate cut. Major rate cut. Right? When you want to cut, they usually go with 25 basis points, right? Every other month is the usual cutting process, I think. But if there's a major cut, that only happens, like an emergency cut, only happens during a black swan event, such as example 2020. A major cut, major multiple rate cuts. Too late is a disaster. Exactly what's upcoming. But we will know what happens or when this black swan enters, because due to this chart, it is called the volatility S&P 500 index. When we see this chart shoot up, like previously, guys, these two times where everything just dumped overnight, like extremely. Example number A, August 5th, and then March 31st. August 5th. Let's go to Bitcoin. August 5th, it takes us to where? August 5th, 2025. Let's see, it should be right here. August 5th. Look at that. Do you guys see? It was this candle right here. That was August 5th. Because of that volatility, S&P 500 volatility index spiked up, right? And then from end of February to basically April. Okay, end of February to basically April. End of February of 2025. End of February right here to April. Look at that. All this period was when the volatility was spiking. Okay, which pointed to XRP, same exact thing here, guys, right? It was dumping heavily. So Donald Trump 100% knows that a recession is coming, which is going to be a black swan event probably soon, because he's screaming on the top of his lungs for the Fed to cut, but they're not trying to cut. And the way to only bring inflation down heavily and possibly even go to deflation is due to a black swan event. Right? That's what's been happening. So it's the easiest playbook. And how will we know? Well, let's go to the 2-week chart. Look at this. This is what a textbook divergence is. Okay. Oh, and when these spikes, by the way, like the RSI you guys see here, when it goes to overbought, right here above 70, is when you want to go all in on XRP, Bitcoin, ETH, whatever you wish to, stocks, any stock, it doesn't matter. Right? So next time when this thing goes up like this again, right, and it comes back down due to money printing, you go all in right there. If you're not already all in. Okay, so how will we know the next black swan is coming soon? Rather soon, I think. It's because, remember, when this spikes, everything else is probably dumping heavy. This is on the 2-weekly, so it's going to take some time probably to play out. I think in the coming months it should happen. Pivot point A. Let me actually zoom the RSI. Look at this. Pivot, okay? RSI is below this line. Is below this pivot, right? Look at that. but the price is holding above this pivot, okay, which is what? A bullish divergence, or some form of it, guys, right? Either or, it's bullish. When this confirms, right? When this confirms it's over, even if we go to the regular candles, the pivot is right here, but by the way, look at that. The RSI is already went below this pivot, right? Price is above it, but the RSI, the momentum is below that pivot. That's a bullish divergence. Again, this is very scary, guys. It truly is, right? So we gotta hope for XRP to make another move higher so we could sell, right? But this isn't financial advice. I'm not here to give trading or trades, right? But again, the time isn't right now, but I think it is coming, guys. Which comes back to this. Trump was clear he wants rates down to 1% because the United States has to roll over $9.5 trillion worth of short duration. That's this fall. Rates don't enter a second wave drop without an economic crisis. He told you what's about to happen. Hey, Trump, did you forget your role? Let's hurry this up. Fulfill your prophecy of collapsing everything. It's all on him, guys. He's the trigger.
So they've got a long way to go. And I think it's just grossly incompetent, but not quite as incompetent as his decision not to do interest rates, take down interest rates, because just like they shouldn't have taken down the ceiling, they should take down interest rates. Every point costs us
Do you guys
$360 billion a year. Think of that, $360 billion for 1 point. And we should be down at 1% because we're the leader of the world. We were always the lowest.
Do you guys realize he doesn't care about the debts at all? Let's be clear, right? He literally doesn't care. The debt is going to keep rising and climbing. He's just giving you this excuse so people back him up, right? In order for the Fed to cut rates. He literally doesn't care about the debt and how much they have to pay. Okay? They want the debts to keep piling on top of each other.
Interest rate for until like a certain time ago, decade, couple. But we were always, because we were the United States of America. So even if the country was run badly, we were considered like to be super prime. And now he's got us in a bad place. So we're paying $360 billion a year for each point. Now, I believe we should be 3 or 4 points lower. So that's over $1 trillion we pay every year in interest. And it's really just a paper calculation. You sign a document and you save almost $1 trillion because that number equates very much to the bonds that we have to buy. But despite that, we're powering through it. And we have the greatest economy maybe we've ever had. But
not in due time. It's going to be the worst. Okay? Because it's all going to be his fault and the Fed. They're all in collusion with each other. They're all in collusion with each other. Don't get fooled here. He knows what's upcoming, which is why subliminally he says that Jerome Powell is called too late. And he's screaming on top of his lungs to the point where Cook must resign now. He's attacking every Fed person. The United States Department of Justice says it has received a criminal investigation federal referral related to Fed Governor Cook and is taking it very seriously. He wants all of them to resign, right? But they won't budge. The Fed will not budge until the black swan arrives. They may as well hurry it up. I want to see it all burn. I want to see the entire world burn. The majority of Fed members see inflation risks outweighing employment risks. This is the single most important data point from the Fed minutes. So, the Fed members see inflation risks, right? Basically, inflation keep rising, which outweighs employment risks. They don't care about employment. Remember, when this spikes and the recession strikes, let's go to the employment data chart, which is, where was it? Right here. You guys see what I see? Unemployment data. Okay? It's slowly, it's like momentum is like building here, right? It's probably gonna pop. This is what I think will happen. Let's go into higher time frames. Okay, monthly. Let's see. Look at that. That was a bullish divergence. You guys see that? Right? Pivot here, pivot there, price lower than there. Okay, that's a 3 monthly, 6 monthly. That's another bullish divergence. Yeah. This is on the 6 monthly, so it's going to happen probably soon. It's going to spike up, guys, right, for unemployment, which means a recession, which means a black swan event just struck, which then means that the Fed will cut emergency rate cuts and hugely. Right now, it's a 80-20 for them cutting in September. If they don't cut, if they do not cut in the month of September, they're 100% guaranteed waiting for a black swan event to take it all down, and then they'll cut. So you may be wondering, okay, what is this black swan that could be looming? From Finance Lot, Trump is locking down Washington and the financial districts because he knows what's coming. I did not notice this until today. National Guard troops appear in Washington, D.C. as many rejects Trump's authoritarian push. Wait, what? So what's going on here? United States National Guard troops have begun appearing on the streets of Washington, D.C. a day after President Donald Trump deployed the troops to the city and took control of its police force as he argued violent crime was out of control. Oh, wow. So Trump was like, hey, we need to bring these troops to Washington, D.C. because there's a lot of illegal things happening, right? And it's not safe for society, which is his excuse to bring upon the National Guards. Okay. Now, but Finance Lot is saying it's not because of that reason. He doesn't care. It's because Trump knows what's coming, and probably there's going to be a lot of civil unrest happening, which will then, the National Guard will calm everyone down. Right? This is interesting, guys. Officials have said that 800 National Guard troops are expected to be deployed, as well as 500 federal law enforcement agents. So what excuse will they use for this recession? What excuse will it be, Trump? We know they're going to fulfill your promise. We know, because you're just merely a puppet. But hurry it up, because we want the collapse so XRP could rise. Not beneath you, I'll prepare. What is this, Sophie's business? See ya.